The Kevin and Bean Show on KROQ. They're idiots.
Hi, this is Gahan from Depeche Mode.
We call it Master and Seven Strings. It's so good. Let me show you the world in my eyes. Dream on, personal, Jesus. Precious and fragile things. I just can't get enough. All I ever wanted, all I ever needed is here in my arms.
Always very excited to welcome this next gentleman onto the show. Our old friend from Depeche Mode, Dave Gahan, back on the phone here on the Kevin and Bean Show. Hi, Dave.
Hey, they cheered. Good morning. Thank you. Thanks for calling me.
Is it a little odd to hear a guy's voice go that high when introducing you?
It's Dave Gahan.
Psychologically, there could be some problems there, but we won't get into that.
Well, we're just excited. Hey, are you in New York right now, Dave?
I am indeed.
It has been like butt cold there in the last couple of weeks, right? Like crazy cold.
It was that kind of thing where it's like, it's cold, man. It was like one of those things like, yeah, that's why I don't like it here in the winter.
Yeah.
Yeah. And do you just not leave the apartment or whatever you got the situation is there? Do you stay in as much as you can? Because it just seems like it would be a pain in the butt to have to put on that many layers just to go outside.
Yeah, and it was one of those. See, I'm English, and I'm like from Essex in England, so it's like our mentality is like, it ain't cold, and you go out with just a T-shirt on, being very British.
Right.
And no, you can't do that. It's like it literally will. Your hands feel like they're going to fall off, and your ears and stuff like that. You gotta really bundle up. It's not fun, but it didn't last that long, and now they're sort of predicting that we're going to have some kind of heat wave coming in March, and then it's just going to go to summer. There's going to be like no spring. So, no surprises here on the East Coast this winter.
In Los Angeles.
And all that stuff. It was crazy.
In Los Angeles, I'm wearing gloves because it's going to be below 75 today.
Oh, I feel for you. Oh, my God. I know that's hard there. I remember when I lived there. That's really hard.
Well, the reason Dave is on the phone with us, not that he needs a reason, is because it's exciting news for Depeche Mode fans. You guys are back with your new album, your 13th studio album. It's coming out on March the 26th. We know just a little bit about it. It's called Delta Machine. Now, when I heard that title, I saw the word Delta. I thought maybe it's got some sort of a, New Orleans or blues feel to it or something like that. Tell us what that means.
Well, you would be right in thinking that. I mean, look, I wouldn't even dare to claim that we've made a blues record. That would just be insulting. But it definitely has a lot of blues influences. I would say closer to sort of what we were doing around the time of Songs of Faith and Devotion, Violator, in its feel, in its sort of drag, in the sort of lyrical content, but musically for sure. I mean, Martin's come up with all these really cool little blues riffs, and Martin's like one of those, like, he's like an underrated guitar player. If we put a guitar around his neck in the studio, he'll just keep spilling out riffs. And the trouble is with Martin, he's such a good songwriter that he'll just be like, can't do that, it's stock. Can't do that, it's stock. Can't call it stock. If it's like, it's just a general riff, it's like, he will not do it. So, but in saying that, he comes up with these little gems, and really this record is thread together by that kind of theme. And I would say it's the most direct sort of record that we've made for a while. It's less filmic and ethereal, and it's, we just kind of banged out like 13 songs, ended up on the record. Yep, 13th album, 13 songs. Some weird thing going on there.
Sure.
I don't know what that is. I just thought about that. 13 albums. Jesus, I mean, who would have thought it?
Is it
likely to survive?
Is it difficult to give Depeche Mode fans what they expect, but still keep moving forward?
That's a good question. And we actually, what we do is I think we try and steer away from that, because we have a sound. Martin and I have a sound together in the studio. We realise this. We realise we have our strengths, and we come together, and now we're really kind of good with that. We're both writing songs for this record and the last few records, and Martin shows up as much on my songs as I show up on his, and we seem to be really in tune. I mean, it's taken a long while, but there was a lot of stuff going on this record where we were on the same page all the time. But I think that what we try and do is we just take the song and then we try many different arrangements and ideas with that song. Being an electronic band, primarily, you can really experiment a lot, and the songs take on different arrangements, tempos, feels, everything before we find something. The song that we found that seemed to drive this record was, in fact, the single Heaven, which...
Now we're going to play that in a second. Tell us about Heaven.
Well, for me, it was one of those songs where as soon as I heard it, Martin played it to me, and I was... I needed it. It was, for want of a better expression, it was a great shot in the arm. It kind of just was I gotta sing that. I can't wait to sing that song. It just felt like it was an old pair of boots that I'd had for 20 years. It was comfortable. I wanted to wear it all the time. There's that kind of thing. And so that for me was it set a standard. Everything had to be kind of as good as that in its directness, and no faffing around. If the song's driven by a blues riff, that's what it is. I mean, let's just make that work and complement that. Coming back to your question just about what you asked, we make music and we steer it in whichever way it's going to go. And to be honest, when we feel like we're going down a direction where we're just repeating ourselves, I think we try and reinvent it,
Right.
That's what we try and do here.
This is the voice of our friend Dave Gahan here on the Kevin and Bean Show. Of course, we're talking about the new Depeche Mode album, Delta Machine it's called, March 26. It's been 4 years since the last Depeche Mode album. Is there ever a time between records where you think now it may finally be over, we may finally be done? Because you guys do always seem to get back together and work again.
Every record, I forget.
Every record.
To be honest, the truth is, after every tour, I just kind of if that is it. It was, look, the last tour we did was, it went beyond our expectations once again. I think we ended up playing to more than 3 million people around the world. It's just, I'm constantly surprised by this band, and when I show up, really exciting things happen. I guess what I'm saying is, we're not done yet, What's helped me a lot, to be honest, in between records, I've been lucky enough to land different projects that have really excited me and got me kind of really going with songwriting. And in between these records, I did a Soul Savers record with Rich Machin, and that really just was it was such a surprise. I didn't expect it at all, and I enjoyed the writing so much, the whole process and everything, and coming together, it felt very natural. So it gave me a lot of enthusiasm to go back into the studio with my band, and I think that's a lot where the kind of sort of gospel-y, bluesy influences came from with me as well. It really sat really well with me.
Well, I have a Soul Savers question. We're also going to ask you some questions about the tour, especially as it relates to North America. And we're going to play the brand new song. It is called Heaven. Here's just a taste of what you'll be hearing when we come back with Dave Gahan on the phone right after the break. A little bit of Heaven.
Balls, 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 balls.
That is very different, Dave. I don't expect to hear that from Depeche Mode.
You know what? I'm not sure what happened in the mix. Plus definitely did something different with that I haven't heard.
Well, it's a remix.
I like it. We'll hear the song. Talk more with Dave.
Hysterical.
Right after this on the Kevin and Bean Show on KROQ.
The Kevin and Bean Show. It's cool. I'm guessing it's many things. Cool is probably the one thing it's not. It's not. The world famous KROQ.
Delta Machine coming out everywhere on March 26th. By the way, that song Heaven has a video. What can you tell us about the video for that, Dave Gahan, who's on the phone with us here on the Kevin and Bean Show?
Well, funnily enough, we did actually shoot it in New Orleans, and we worked with this guy, Tim Sciasenti. It's a bit of a mouthful, that name, Sciasenti. And he worked with us in the studio, filming a lot of bits and pieces that we were doing, like fly on the wall stuff kind of thing. We also did like a little live set in the studio towards the end of the recording in New York, and he filmed that as well, which was a lot of fun, actually. And So we decided to use him to do this video. It seemed like the right idea. We shot it in the 9th Ward, mostly, in New Orleans, and he did a lot of other sort of imagery as well. You know, kind of like imagery that was based, like, you know that movie, The Tree of Life?
Sure.
It was kind of cool. The imagery in it was very cool.
Yeah, visually beautiful. Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, when he was ascending up in the tree and all that kind of, it was a bit weird seeing him sort of, at that point, I thought the movie went a bit weird, but visually it was very exciting, and I think Tim used a lot of that kind of, those ideas mixed up with a lot of kind of sort of dark, twisted, kind of stuff in there that you kind of, if you look carefully, you see. Mainly it's a performance video, which we haven't done for a long time. We set up as a band. Christian come over and played some drums, and we kind of, Mark on guitar, Fletcher on some keyboards, and we kind of set up in this church. And he just filmed us and projected all these weird sort of images over us. But I think it's really cool. It works with the song, because the song is very, you know, it's just driven by the fact that it is a great song. And for me, it's like, that's what I want to hear. That's what I'm still moved by when I hear songs that I'm like, you know, just make me want to make music, you know. And that was one of those songs.
And you can see that video on Vivo. We have Dave Gahan from Depeche Mode. Let's talk about your touring plans. It looks like you're doing a European tour starting in early May.
That's correct.
Why are the Israelis better than the Americans? Why do you start there, Dave? What's going on?
I don't know. I think it's got... Well, let me see. It must be... I don't know. We're just drawn back to that land somehow. We had a kind of few miss gigs there. Years ago, we cancelled a show there. It was when there was like war was kind of breaking out and rockets were flying all over the place.
What a pussy!
I think it was towards the end. I think it was the end of the play in the Angel tour or something like that. But we didn't go.
But what a stage show that would have been! You would have had explosions everywhere. It would have been awesome.
We could have. We didn't have to pay for pyrotechnics.
Right.
Cool, yeah.
Do you remember when you played Dodger Stadium and there was that huge lightning storm behind you?
I do.
That was so
awesome.
cool.
I remember I embraced it. I thought it was like, it was definitely a sign from God.
Well, the European tour has 34 shows in 25 different European countries, and you're going everywhere. You're going to France, and you're going to Russia, and you're going to Italy, and you're going to Israel, and you're going to Belarus. But we've heard very little about a North American tour. I know that one will follow. Do you have anything at all, just even a rough idea of when you might come here?
You know, I know for sure that we are starting on the West Coast, and it will be shortly after this leg ends. You know, we start, as you said, in Europe at the beginning of May. There, it goes on for a while, and they're predominantly outside shows, big sort of stadium shows, and then I think there'll be a mix of those things towards the end of the summer in North America. So we'll definitely be doing something, trying to find something to do special in Los Angeles. Of course, those couple of shows that we did at the Hollywood Bowl on the last tour were just really fantastic.
So fun. Yeah.
It's actually two of my favorite shows on the whole tour. I don't know why. There was something special about those gigs. I've got little goosebumps there, like thinking about that. Cool.
So probably Belarus is the last show of Europe, so that'll be July 29th. So probably sometime August-ish. We'll see you on the West Coast then.
I would think you'd be absolutely right. August, September.
Are you ever amazed in our final moments with our friend Dave Gahan? Again, Depeche Mode, new album coming out March 26th. We just played the song Heaven from Depeche Mode. Are you ever amazed? I mean, you're not the Rolling Stones yet, but 32 years, Dave, is a long time to keep a band together. Are you ever just stunned that Depeche Mode is a thing in 2013?
You know, I am, and I'm very proud that we are still able to do this, because we kind of have always done it our way, and you know, we've been that band that nobody understood, then we've been the band that everybody tried to imitate, and then we were now suddenly with the band that everybody says, we were influenced by. You know, it's that kind of, anyone that's got any kind of coolness whatsoever seems to like Depeche Mode. And I know I'm blowing our own trumpet, but we're still kind of like the biggest alternative band out there somehow. And, you guys have got a lot to do with that as well. You've constantly supported us, I got to say that. And
I really think it's mostly due to us.
I think it's mostly actually just due to you.
Not to blow my own
Kevin
horn.
and Bean. Not to forget Lisa as well. I know this.
Look, we're doing our part, but you guys keep making the music that we love, so that's why we're always there for you. Dave, we love having you on the show, man. It's always great when we get a chance to catch you. We're very excited about this new song, the album, the tour, everything. I hope we get a chance to see you again when you come to town, my friend.
I hope so. Maybe we can do something special.
Fantastic.
Thanks, Dave. Have a great one, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Cheers, guys. See you soon.